Welcome Gemini, Dadhichi here. It's again another month, another forecast. It's about expansion this month. Last month, if you were here, I was talking to the audience about Saturn and its contractive effects on your life, on everyone's life. It is the tester. And today I wanted to talk about the diametric opposite of that, which is Jupiter and the process of expansion. If you recall last week when I was talking about Saturn, I said that if you work with this planet in a resonant way, in a way where you're not resisting the lessons of that planet, that constraining power that naturally creates a knee-jerk reaction to escape. If you just rest in that and just try to flow with that, that's when I believe the energies of Jupiter, or that expansive process of your being or life, or the planets, it's all fractalic, it's all fractal. Everything that's happening up there is happening here, even down to the atomic level, the cellular level of your being. And really, this month, the cellular level of your being, I think, has a bearing on the reading, because Jupiter is transiting in your sixth house. The sixth house is health. It's also to do with service, believe it or not, quality service. And so expanding and work, your working environment and how you work, the methodology which you employ to do the work that you have chosen. And so this expansion can't really take place if, firstly, number one, you're resisting that process of Saturn, and number two, you're not expanding in the right areas, right? It's like putting a balloon in a little box and then pumping it up. You can try to expand all you will, but unless you're in an environment that is conducive to that expansion, the balloon's going to pop. And so there is an intimate link between, number one, finding your line of least resistance in work, the activity that you want to do, the activity that you love. Of course, expansion and love do go hand in glove. And I say to many of my clients and friends, if it's expansion that you want, you don't have to worry about expansion. Expansion is a natural process that happens if you have aligned yourself with your God-given talents, the energies that are you, and the job that is going to allow that to happen as naturally as possible. That process of expansion will reflect the love that you bring to the work. And so the service that I'm talking about as well is a genuine service, a genuine love of what you do, which is not too cognizant. I mean, I'm not saying you don't work for money, but I'm saying that when you're doing the work that you do, it doesn't tend to focus on the money or the time or what will people think. What is the outcome of that? And really, there's an example of that in one of the ancient scriptures of India. It's called the Bhagavad Gita, and in that book, it's quite an interesting story. The soldier Arjuna was with his charioteer and good friend Krishna, and he was about to go into battle, and he noticed that on the other side were all his family and relatives and friends, and all of a sudden the realization dawned that he was going to be going out there and having to kill all of these people. So, the charioteer, who was an enlightened being, unbeknownst to Arjuna, the soldier, just sat there and listened to him prattle on for a while till he exhausted himself. He then, in a manner of speaking, grabbed him by the scruff of the neck and lifted him up and said, listen, your concern is not the outcome of what you have to do. Your concern should only be doing what you do to the best that you can do it. This is the perfection of action. And in that book, it's interesting because it talks about the action in due course becoming actionless. In other words, there's only an action if there's an actor. Only if there's a sense that you're doing your work, that you're performing service, that you're doing this or that. Only if there's that sense of doership or the ego involved, do the problems arise. And subsequently, does the expansion not happen? In fact, that, in a sense, is like Saturn putting your expansive heart balloon in a box. Does not afford you the opportunity to love what you do, to expand naturally, because you're too preoccupied with what will people think, how much money am I going to make out of that. Okay, so it defeats the pure purpose of spontaneous creativity. And so for you, your work, and this transit of Jupiter has a lot to do with this. And believe it or not, I started the reading saying that this indeed has a lot to do with the health component of your life right now. Because let me tell you, when that balloon busts, you're not going to feel too good. If you've locked yourself in a box, I call it living in a jar. And my suggestion is to smash the jar. If you're living your life like that, it's only a matter of time before the dissonance of function and intention start to grate, start to cause problems. So it really is a transit of realignment for you, Gemini. I hope you're going to find that. I think you can. This transit now of Venus moving into the same position. The planet Venus is a planet of love to some extent, and it does afford you the opportunity right now to look carefully at what it is you want to do, what it is you feel comfortable doing. It's a big leap of faith, I know, but at least on the level of intention, at least intend to do something about this. If you're living in a jar, smash it. And come back and see me next month. But in the meantime, don't forget, take a look at astrology.com.au. That's my website. There's a lot of other stuff there. I've just tried to get to the heart of the issue today. And we're going to continue along these lines next month to give you some help in working with the contractive processes so you can expand in those areas that are truly resonant with who you are and your true self. Take care. Bye-bye now.